We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Enough volatility for you? Probably. Sick of the volatility? Don't think of it that way. Volatility is energy. You cannot have an up move. You cannot have a banana singularity unless you wind up the spool first. I know. You want everything to just go indiscriminately higher. I get it. But in these type of markets that aren't fueled by like massive Fed liquidity, which was the last cycle, you got to wind it up. And I think this thing is ready to go. Right now, I'm going to spare you, having to watch, Trump and Melania dance on the presidential logo for anyone overseas. But as you can see by the type of things that is coming out of the Trump administration, the latest one being the pardon of Ross, who was, the creator of essentially a Bitcoin trading system, right? That was, used by all types of interesting people. He did 12 years in jail and he's out. He's considered a Bitcoin pioneer, just like my first boss, Charlie Shrem. Okay. Glad Ross got the pardon. I think it's lost on the market that Trump is doing exactly what he said he was going to do, right? Which is going to go way beyond day one, day two, day 100. It's going way beyond that, right? And this whole idea about Web3, I am still pending on Coinbase. Good thing I didn't send anything big, right? It was almost like a circuit breaker on the system. At this point, it's somewhat hard to believe it was an accident because I really do believe everybody would leave Coinbase to buy Trump coin. Coinbase's fritz will magically be fixed on the day that they list Trump coin. Okay. Now, this does have profound implications, as you can probably tell, like meme coins. Some of them bounced, but from very low levels. It's hard to see the case for another meme coin with these two monsters out there, right? It's like Doge, Trump, Melania, and maybe smaller stuff coming out of the virtuals universe. Okay. And virtuals itself. Now, there is a lot of good news here. Solana's going up. Solana was down, but Solana held. Coinbase didn't. That's kind of funny. Okay. That is really interesting. And Coinbase is going to have to list every single base coin. Every single one. Probably it's got to be starting with Arrow. Right. I'm sorry. Arrow is already there. But what I mean is everything that's not on base, starting with virtuals is what I meant. Everything that's not on base is going on Coinbase, like right away. And I'm not talking about dumping PopCat on everyone's head either. This is happening now. A lot of people are upset because Trump did mention a strategic Bitcoin reserve on day one. I think it's obvious why he did not do that. You cannot launch a meme coin, which is funny. He claims he doesn't know anything about it. That was also funny and a buying opportunity. He claimed he didn't know anything about it. Okay. But he does know about it. His people know about it. And there's no way you can go from issuing a meme coin on Monday to, oh, gee, yeah, let's do the strategic Bitcoin reserve and pump everything on day two. It's not going to happen. It may not even occur. It's probably got to be 2 weeks. It's probably got to be the beginning of the month. And hedge funds can go back and forth with gymnastics until that time. But Bitcoin's going to have a bid. Altcoins may be volatile, but altcoins want to go up. Like Web3 is just absolutely happening, right? They watch the whole world go from the centralized world to the decentralized world, and they could barely handle it. Never mind run the entire internet. So I'm guessing these coins have to go up a lot just because of the investment that needs to come into the ecosystem. And Uncle Sugar might do it. He just did, I think, $500 million for AI. I don't understand why people think the government can't invest in Web3 infrastructure particularly in certain sectors. Why can't that happen? Everyone is like, oh my God, I'm upset about my meme coin. Dude, Web3 is happening like at warp speed. It was happening before this. Now it's definitively happening because I think you have Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, Algorand, and Hedera, along with Trump and maybe Milani ready to just totally explode. Along with, I think possibly virtuals. I've been tracking the 13 bottom. It's ready to go. But everyone's upset, nervous, discouraged, whatever. People, this is 2025. Up 50% retracements, all kinds of volatility. You wanted crypto like the old days. It's here. Now, is it what you want? No. But if the volatility is getting to you, I have one simple solution. Your position is too big. Your position is too big, right? In other words, when the thing is chopping around, if you're getting liquidated or you're getting chopped up or you're selling low and buying high, you just have to reduce the size of the position. Then when the trend develops, again, first of the month seems likely, right? Hedge funds, mutual funds, everybody adjusts their book. And then, okay, now that we have all the information and the inauguration is out of the way, now we can make decisions, right? And that's when the thing goes up only. Right. But in the meantime, you can accumulate if you're one of these people who can just, hoover up on any decline. Yeah, sure. Right. But when you get it, even intraday volatility, like all the way up, all the way back down again, up 5%. Now it's only up 1%. That is a dip. So that is the quick and dirty. Let's get to who's here. Miklo, Dominic, Desiree, Javier, welcome. Shelly, Hav, SG, the original. Welcome. Thomas, Holly, hello. Freezing in Chicago. Dude, we got iced in Austin. Josh Bone, Arendam, Taz Pinball, CB, Dara Cawley, welcome. Tyson, Warmon, another OG, Manu, Victor, what's going on? Monkey, B Hunter, Teresa, Grayson, We the People, Stormin Norman, Marcos Ruiz, Tango FN, what's going on? Sippy, Sam Wilkinson, oh my God, landing from the UK. Brandon, Coinbase listed official Trump. So it actually happened. Thank goodness. You still may never get your Solana back, but glad to see the Orange Man coin is on Coinbase. Looks like they are selling it. Right. So I'm interested in the 62% retracement near 30. Right. The 50% retracement at 38 is interesting. But if they hit this thing and try to run the stops at 30, could be interesting. It's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money. So if they hit this thing, right, like this could be your opportunity. Because I think what's going on here is that, once people who need to sell have sold, right, the people who are buying this thing on the debit card, once they see it low, they're going to want to come in and they're not going to sell. So once the Jeets are out, this is going to be hedge funds and Trump loyalists. We went through this last night. I'm not going to go through Trump 101, but there are people who like this guy. They've liked this guy and they're not going to sell. So you have this huge coin. You have a lot of supply. You got a big valuation. I know. And it's wrecked everyone else's meme coin. So everyone's going to want to know what's going on with Ski, right? Honestly, a 62% retracement. I didn't think it was going to do this because it went in a square range, and I assumed the inauguration was pro-crypto. It was pro-Bitcoin and pro-Trump coin, nothing else, maybe except Solana and XRP. Ski Mask doing a 62% retracement. You can tell by this battle here. A lot of people think 100x is easy. That's like the biggest problem in crypto. Like everyone thinks it's easy. It never is. Matter of fact, most of the time, frankly, it sucks, right? Because, you want it to go up or your lever or whatever, and they continue to get you. I mean, they ran stops here and then everyone gave up. Now, is this going to hold? I don't know. I kind of would think so, right? I kind of would think, right? Because they've been running stops and pushing people out for a while. The good news about Ski Mask is $145 million is no longer expensive, right? It used to be like, like 5, 50, 100, 200, a billion. That used to be it. Now with the Orange Man, it's almost like you start at 250 million and then at a billion, you think about it. I mean, look what happened to Pudgy. Unless I have this wrong, right? Pudgy went back to a billion. Wow. Right? This is what happens. Honestly didn't think this was going to happen either. Like 2025 is 20 days old, and a lot of things that weren't on people's bingo cards have happened. So what's a better buy at a billion? Pudgy or Melania? Now, Melania is valued at a higher than a billion at fully diluted market cap. Okay. I'm pretty sure when we came into this year, you weren't thinking, is it Pudgy versus Melania? I wasn't thinking that. And Pudgy getting dropped, I didn't think that was going to happen. But you have to start asking yourself, especially into the end of the month, if people start giving up, right? Because I sense that, right? My audience is flooding in, I don't know, a video. What does the Trump coin mean for XRP? Huge views, right? Huge, right? So everyone's wound up. Everyone's upset because their crypto is going down in what they perceive as a bull market. Now, again, it's not what you invest in, it's what you pay for it. If people start giving up into the end of the month, that could be an opportunity. Now, of course, you're asking yourself, what am I going to do between now and the end of the month? And the question is, if you can't tolerate more downside, then your position is too big. But some of this stuff looks pretty washed out. I don't know if I can pull Pudgy up because I sense people may be upset about that. So this is the 89-minute chart of Pengu, right? You can see it's at the Lux Algo discount zone around 0.023. So this is like a purely tactical look. And I'm guessing if Melania trades at a billion, this can trade at a billion, and that's all right. Right? I think Pudgy is going to be back because of real world applications. Dogs, cats, and frogs versus the Orange Man. I don't know. He's got to go to the Middle East. He's going to deal with the Russians. He's going to fight with Canada. I mean, there was no end to the drama on Twitter the first time. And to be honest with you, if anything may be holding the market from going back, it could be people allocating into this and Bitcoin. I know that sounds insane, right? This was not on anybody's bingo card because the way this looks, I mean, in some ways, it looks like it's being traded by an algorithm or a market maker because this is a very nice looking rounding bottom here on the 30-minute chart. This feels like some kind of accumulation process in the Orange Man's coin and frankly in Bitcoin. It's got a rounding nature to it. Like somebody's accumulating. Somebody big. They're going to be after this thing. And this is going to change the whole meme coin game, I think. Right? Like meme coins were able to sort of detach from Bitcoin in a way and sort of do their own thing. And I hate to say this, but all these crypto bros that were like, hey, it's a meme coin super cycle. And I'm like, yeah, man, it is. The boomers just hijacked it. They just hijacked meme coin super cycle. because this could be, in terms of its size, the Bitcoin of meme coins. So we're praying that the whole market can go up together. I think it can, because this thing is a signal, along with Ross, that they're coming in to invest directly in Web3. I know that sounds nuts, but I mean, again, you've been told. I've been saying that over and over again. So here's the Ross pardon, right? I just called the mother of Ross Ulbright to let her know that in honor of the libertarian movement, it was my pleasure to sign a full pardon for Ross. I actually met Ross's mom once for like 5 minutes, and I was so overwhelmed by the sadness. And I'm not surprised that the Orange Man did this. 12 years in jail for whatever he did. Yeah, that was enough. I think that was enough. That's a long time to go to jail. A long time. On a lighter note, you know, does the Trump family look and dress like they're fooling around? This is the thing that I don't understand. Like, I've had a couple versions. I have a new version for tonight. You know, everyone's like, well, Trump didn't pump my bags the first night. I'm upset. I'm like, okay. But if you look at this, like, do these people look serious, true or false? And these are not even, this is not the guy. This is the guy's wife and the guy's kid. The kid plays basketball. Yeah, I understand that. But it's still a kid. Look at these two. Are they not going to do what they said they were going to do? I can't believe the market is where it is now. I mean, there is this idea, going back to side of the fireside chat side of this. Look, people, if there's volatility, it's because of asset allocation, not because there's something wrong with the market. He just threw a monkey wrench in the works, but in many ways, he guaranteed Web3. He guaranteed it because it's happening and they're doing it. Inflation is 4.8%. We need a different currency. You got problems across the board with fiat. Let me say it a different way. You cannot solve the problems with fiat currencies in the fiat foreign exchange market. You cannot. Because if you could, they would have done it already. So where are you going to do it? On Base, on Coinbase, everywhere. Everywhere in crypto. And I don't think anyone's ready. I don't. I think everyone's like, my bags, Popcat, whatever. And no one is thinking about how big this is. I mean, did you see the deal that he did today with OpenAI? You know, the government had to get involved. They don't have enough money. Really? You know, I did a little Truth Social with, FAFO with crypto logos. I'm going to have to let you look up what that means. They're not fooling around. They're just not. Okay. Trump knows about war, inflation, spending cuts. They're going to turn Elon loose single-handedly with 20 guys. I mean, that's probably going to be something of legend, especially since Trump publicly committed to going to Mars, and now Elon has to figure out how to pay for it. I actually feel a little bit, just a little bit, sorry for these characters who are short bonds. They think we're going broke, and they're up against Elon Musk. Good luck with that. Now, could there be a problem somewhere else? Yeah, there could be. You know, they got problems in Europe. They got problems in China. They got problems everywhere. The Orange Man's got to get on this right now. And CZ says it best. Everyone wants it in one day. They wanted their strategic Bitcoin reserve. They wanted the government to buy 1 million Bitcoin. They wanted them to market buy the first chunk today and moon their bags. It's not the government's job. Okay. The government's job is to invest in probably AI and Web3, which nobody is invested in. But if you looked at Hyperliquid, Crow, Orderly, all these DeFi coins, they were up 20% today. DeFi is moving. Again, this is what happened after the election. And once again, I don't hear anybody talking about this. There is zero chatter on Twitter about what is going on inside the crypto market. None, zero. The market dips after the president's inauguration. Nothing happened. Oh my God. Stop the presses. The market's down. It's not supposed to be down. It's supposed to go up forever. No. This is important. Coinbase CEO says Bitcoin will be in the multiple of millions. Coinbase over at Davos telling all the world governments and World Economic Forum characters where, they can go with their brave new world. Okay. Bitcoin beats gold as a store of value. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think this guy thought that up all on his own? I don't think so. You got to remember something. When BlackRock buys Bitcoin, BlackRock does for the ETF, BlackRock doesn't take custody of that Bitcoin directly. They have a relationship with Coinbase, right? Coinbase has got it in a vault with Brinks or wherever they have it. He just watches everyone buy Bitcoin and watches it move from one server or one wallet to another. That's how it gets done. So he's seen it all. If they're doing any type of state purchases or if corporations are queued up, they've already got the back end in place at Coinbase. Effectively, the strategic Bitcoin reserve, most likely starting with big U.S. states, is already in play. And corporations are going to be right behind them, if not already. And he just told you. You know, again, this is this weird thing about me. I mean, you must think I'm out of my mind. Like, I'm sure people think I'm out of my mind, right? Because I remember all of this subtle signals from years past. This is how messages were communicated in the past. You had to have economists or traders or people and analysts interpret the subtle signals. There was no FOMC press conference. You heard from the Fed in years past twice when they would testify in front of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and that's it. You never heard from these guys at a podium. This guy just told you that they're queuing up massive custody arrangements for Bitcoin. So I don't know why everyone's upset, and I sort of don't understand why Bitcoin is not higher, but that's okay. That's fine because it's giving you more time and possibly more time for alts. Because once the asset allocation thing gets done, money is coming into the system now because of the Trump coin. Everyone thinks this is negative. There was a guy on a show who said, yeah, my wife just got out her credit card or her debit card and FOMO'd into Melania. She's like, oh yeah, I want some. They don't care about the price. They just want to be like, oh, I have, it's like old fashioned stuff. Like, oh, I have 100 shares of IBM, or I have 1 share of IBM. You should be able to get a stock certificate. That's what this is. It's like, oh, I got an inauguration souvenir and I didn't have to donate $1 million. And then 2 years later, when Target's accepting it, maybe it's a good buy. Whoever talks about hodling meme coins, nobody. But this guy's telling you what's happening with Bitcoin. So is this guy Beeple. The strategic Bitcoin reserve needs a buy-in from Congress. Issuing an executive order is the blunt way to execute this. Okay. The smart way is to assess the likelihood of success by pushing the go button. And he actually has a point. In other words, if you come out and you announce it, the market probably goes up and then dumps. It probably is sell the fact because you don't know if they can actually implement it. So the Soros guys that work for Trump are like, you know what? Let's make the market wait. Let's let it go until they say it's not happening. Then we'll announce it in stages. Like it'll start with the states, or it'll start with 10 states, or it'll start with the Treasury, or whatever. They'll roll it out in pieces. So the strategic Bitcoin reserve announcement has life as an ongoing catalyst. And of course, crypto people won't know what to do with that because they want instant gratification. I understand that. I understand. I'm not saying you don't want instant gratification. But That's not how they're going to do this. They want ongoing news headlines, ongoing growth. They want Bitcoin higher in an orderly fashion. They don't want the thing going up and then collapsing in their face, and they don't have a catalyst after that. I mean, Trump has publicly traded stocks, right? He's done this before, and even if he's forgotten it all, the guy from Soros hasn't. He hasn't. You're fired. Trump boots everybody. That's only begun. Okay, you have to show up to work if you work for the federal government. Again, you have to start asking yourself, how many of these folders are there? You know, like, oh, we're going to do 200 executive orders. Really? Just 200, all right? No more? We're not going to just sit there and just single-handedly dismantle stuff? Because by the time they get to having to deal with Congress, I'm guessing the orange man will have made his point. And I want one of those pens. According to White House press secretary, there will be a massive infrastructure project, which was the $400 million announcement for OpenAI. We're also fighting with the Canadians, just in case you think this meme coin can't fly up and down with endless entertainment. It used to be like a Solana influencer used to have to fight an ETH guy from the last cycle in order to get attention for Solana meme coins. And now Trump can just get on Twitter and just push his narrative, push his story. Meme coins move on attention. Let me ask you a different question. If Bitcoin is at $300,000, where's the Trump meme coin trading? Or if there's like geopolitical events or there's like issues with Canada, you know, and things get wild. There's no limit to how high Bitcoin and Web3 can go, particularly if governments and fiat starts going at each other. And there's Trump as a leader for altcoins. I know no one wants to hear that. But if Trump, it's like bonk and whiff. When bonk and whiff went, Solana went. Trump goes, Solana goes. People are just going to want it. It's that simple. And then they're going to do ETH DeFi possibly on top of that. So I submit to you that you could have Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, and possibly ETH DeFi all going at once. And everyone thinks that there's something wrong with the market. There's nothing wrong with the market. Okay, here's Beeple reminding you to watch the Orange Man and, you know, the sort of like interesting outfit that she had going on, right? While also watching the Trump coin. Is Trump bullish or bearish for crypto? He just gave Ross a full pardon. The sort of the idea was that he was going to commute his sentence. They put him out on the street, free man, right? Strong. This guy has a lot of leverage. Has anyone heard from Michael Saylor? My guess is no. Why? Because they're going radio silent on the Bitcoin strategic reserve. They're going to roll it out in stages, and Mike cannot be on the tape bull posting Bitcoin and advising the administration at the same time. As a matter of fact, the administration's first possible purchase may be an OTC deal from MicroStrategy. He does have the largest amount of Bitcoin of kind of like any private sector holder. Now, I know everybody wants the government involved in the open market, but the point is their silence is golden. It's golden. Utah introduces a bill. Again, this is endless. Okay, Algorand wants to put precious metals on chain. Gold is breaking out. Again, is there any end to this? Is there any end to this? The Ethereum Foundation allocates 50,000 ETH to support the DeFi ecosystem. Gee, that's interesting timing, don't you think? Because every DeFi coin is up like 25% today, like the hot new ones. Like, you got to realize something. They used VC money and excessive Fed liquidity to build the rails for Web3 and then left it for dead. Then there may be some new layer ones or some other coins that have come out, that may be sitting at like 500 or 800 market cap that aren't doing anything. I don't have those coins in front of me right now. But I mean, what does this tell you? I mean, we don't go over the news on the show. You can get a chat bot to do that. We got to go over what all this means and then go to a chart, and then it's simple. Like they're doing this, right? Hedera has been added to a Made in America crypto section on CoinGecko. A pro XRP guy is now in charge of the SEC. Ripple is now buying advertising in Washington, D.C. Solana, $40 billion in volume on Solana. You know what? Solana as a network, yeah, every trade doesn't go through. But you know what? They ran $40 billion through the system. And ironically, Solana was okay, but Coinbase wasn't. So that's kind of funny, don't you think? I mean, when you start thinking about the amount of volume that came in, that was just the general public with their debit cards and institutions. But the general public wasn't bought. What happens if this happens like massively? Like if you got inflows from the stock market into AI? I mean, has anybody thought about this? Right? I mean, has anybody thought about it? I'm guessing no. And I lost the thing with Hedera. Hedera is at Davos with like a Made in America crypto. And look at this. Crypto.com changed its name in an app to buy Bitcoin and Trump. Okay, I understand. Like, look, I'm not, I know that when I talk about this, people get bullish and then Trump, doesn't go anywhere. So Trump, you got probably have big people accumulating it and probably the project, right, selling to accumulate liquidity. Maybe World Liberty too. But considering that somebody is probably selling to new buyers, right, and people are allocating money to this thing, assuming that it's the next bonk or whiff in terms of how much it can go up, or like Pepe, someone's sitting on it, they're selling. And quietly, it's being accumulated by somebody, and the general public wants it. Everybody wanted normies to come in. They just wanted normies to come in the coins that they owned. And the thing that was sick about this is that nobody owned it. That included the $1 million donors at the party. Okay? So, don't fade this. Don't fade it. Okay? Solana meme coin founder Donald Trump vows to block all central bank digital currency. Yeah, man, we don't need a CBDC. He just issued America coin. Like you're carrying around a piece of paper with a deceased government official on it and using that as money. So now you have a meme coin of the guy and his wife digitally. They can print the paper and, they can increase the supply of the token. It's kind of a tie. Do you want a living president or one that's not? That can, and the digital one can go up in value. And we've discussed this. Okay. So Trump rounding bottom, big spike down, weird stuff happening. I don't know, man. Let them run the stops at 30. I don't know if they can get it down there. I mean, I know that if it goes down there, that I'm down there. I'm down there. I'm down there on Bitcoin. I'm down there on everything. This feels like one last dip. Maybe it does. Or maybe it just sits here and wobbles and makes you bearish just by going sideways. Don't fall for that. Please don't fall for that. Okay, Melania, no one wants it. I think that's a mistake, right? I think this is the bigger the base, the higher in the space. We'll see. It's like Pudgy, Melania, Trump, and now they're talking about putting Trump in an ETF. You're right. They are talking about putting Trump in an ETF because the market's telling you there is no other meme coin. If you don't have Trump and Doge in your ETF, you don't have a meme coin ETF. No one's interested. Scary, right? Now, you have to take a lesson for this. If this is how fast things can change in meme coins, how fast can they change in other sectors? This is the beginning. Welcome to the age of AI and crypto and innovation. You know, the 2024 is over. This is the new deal. 62% retracements, right? Ski mask. You know, it's okay that this sucks. It's not okay if your P&L is bad, but it's understandable. Now, if you want to allocate, if you want to get involved, dude, they have smashed this. Good Lord. What they have done to virtuals. I mean, they wrecked it, they spiked it, and then they wrecked it again. And it's like a 13 bottom. And to me, this looks great. And anything on it, like some guys are talking about Crow. You know, I was looking at Sequoia. I mean, this whole ecosystem feels like, you know, you just want to hoover it all up. And I really had no idea the extent of the crash in things like A16Z. God, you know, virtuals is in good shape compared to that, right? Because that was all the way up and all the way down. It's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money, like a real dip, a nasty one. Okay. Cross chain. Solana survived. Everyone's out selling Solana. It's like, oh my God, I need to dump my Solana because I can't move it from Coinbase. Whatever. That's like that. Again, that's positioning. That's asset allocation. Whatever. Right? Solana survived. Solana's got the biggest meme coin ever. Yeah, it was a mess the first night. I get it. But if you can get to a phantom wallet, you can trade it. They have the world's biggest circus attraction. Rose, a Web3 layer 1, destroyed, right? Now, Chainlink, on the other hand, moving. So if this is not a top in Chainlink, you should get a dip after this signal because you have the 13 and the 9. So if you get the dip in Chainlink, that's the dip, maybe to 23.38, maybe. Now, guess what happens if you get a dip and then it comes straight back? Then you got to watch out, right? But there should be volatility at the end of the month. And if there isn't, then they just can't control themselves. So, you know, it's okay. And I told people this about the Trump coin. It's okay to be patient. It is. Like, I know I talk a lot about the banana singularity, but it's okay to be patient. It is. Because if you got 5 or 10 days of the market doing this, you know, and you see something like Pudgy as an example, something that underperforms, that they all of a sudden start giving up on at the end of the month, that's the opportunity. That's it, right? AI Nova Shell also had a 60% retracement, and Crow. Yeah, man, this AI DeFi crossover stuff, dude, I would be committing capital to that, not investment advice. Make sure you use stops, but oh my God, man, AI and DeFi, somebody said they was missed what was said about Phantom and Sol. Here's what was said about Solana. Solana didn't work the first night, but did work after, and they did $40 billion in volume. So Phantom had a problem. Solana had a problem. They fixed it. This Coinbase problem, they need Web3, right? They need Web3. Matt from Australia is here. Welcome. Okay, let me sum this up. Do not get shaken out by volatility. Volatility is the new normal. Ranges, quiet price action, lane price action breeds itself. So does intense volatility. Intense volatility is necessary in order to have a banana singularity, which is a really big volatile up move. And that feels like what's happening, right? That when this up move goes, it's really going to go. And you can't be fooled by anything that happens at the end of the month on the downside because it's just asset allocation. Institutions were just getting used to Bitcoin. Then they had to start thinking about Solana and XRP. And now they're talking about a Trump ETF. Like, I don't know how the SEC approves a Trump ETF, but they may try to put it in with other meme coins. That's insane. I can't even get my head wrapped around that part of it. I don't even think you need a Trump ETF. Why do you need an ETF for Trump? Right? It's fine as a digital asset. People are buying it with debit cards. You don't have to go to a Schwab account if you can get it with a debit card. People want to buy and hold it. They don't want to cheat it. Now, as far as Bitcoin goes, Bitcoin's going to be a strategic reserve asset. It's just a question of how they structure it. So, I mean, the value, and I said this last night, and I have no problem saying it again, the valuation achieved by the Trump coins, even if those coins went to zero tomorrow, naturally that would create a lot of volatility, but they achieved prices that people didn't think were possible. Was FOMO involved? Yeah, FOMO was involved. But they still stretched the imagination, right? I mean, imagine what happens if Bitcoin goes to 140 and the Trump token takes out its high. Where's Solana, right? What happens if Coinbase has to list everything on the virtuals network? Like everything that's got a community and volume goes over. Now, this is an equities term. There are so many upside catalysts in this market. There are so many upside catalysts, right? Governments can make ongoing announcements. Corporations are going to make announcements, right? These Web3 announcements can come from gaming, finance, and AI. Like, and of course, everyone's already forgotten about BlackRock, right? Like BlackRock was talking about tokenizing anything. Has that even been discussed? Of course not. No, because it's like, oh wait, let me get the microscope out. The government didn't moon my bags. I can't look at the world because my bags are not up. Don't think like this. Like, this is historic. You got to treat it that way. You got to organize your book properly. Now, if that means you did bad trades, get rid of the bad trades. Or if you got to stop out a half a position and come back later, then do that. But you got to allocate money to the stuff that's going to go up, right? The stuff that matters. Like with the Trump meme coin, like dogs, cats, and frogs was fun. Ski seems cheap at 140 relative to Trump and everything else. But like buying meme coins on centralized exchanges, maybe other than Doge, why? For what? Right? Like if you want a meme that gets attention, we have one, right? You want a big one? Okay, there's Doge and Pepe and Bonk and Whiff. Maybe. If they dump $1 billion into a project and this thing that Brian Armstrong was hinting at happens, people may not be ready, but they're probably going to let institutions get ready the last 10 days of the month, right? In other words, they got caught by the orange man's meme coin, but they cannot get caught again. So whatever's coming, you're going to see it in the market before it happens. You're already seeing it in DeFi. Keep an eye on Hyperliquid. Okay, that's it for tonight. I will see you tomorrow.